headed east on I-10. Our destination, the USS Kidd, a destroyer seeing action in both the Atlantic and the Pacific during World War II, as well as the Korean War. Now, even though the USS Kidd was built to be on the oceans, she now sits here in Baton Rouge on the Mississippi River, rising and falling with the level of the river. Now, who was Admiral Isaac Campbell Kidd?
Was the admiral aboard the USS Arizona. Everybody remembers the USS Arizona. It was the ship that was sunk at Pearl Harbor and is now a memorial there. He was the flag officer on board. He was the first flag officer killed in World War II.
As a boy, he had a pretty cool nickname.
When he was growing up, he was known as Cap. That was his nickname. So when this ship was commissioned and the crew came aboard, they wanted to choose a mascot, and they wanted to choose Captain Kidd, the pirate, as their mascot.
A pirate? Doesn't that mean trouble on the high seas?
They didn't want to offend anyone, so they asked Admiral Kidd's widow, who had christened the ship, if it would be all right, and she thought it was a wonderful idea.
But the crew went a step further, asking Kidd's widow if they could fly another flag, the Jolly Roger. She personally went to the Navy to ask if the flag could be authorized.
And they did. You know, who's going to turn down Mrs. Kidd? And so now the ship is authorized to fly the pirate flag.
The USS Kidd started escorting carriers in the Atlantic, then transited the Panama Canal heading to the Pacific. On April 11, 1945, the unthinkable, as a kamikaze pilot positioned himself between the USS Kidd and the USS Black. Neither ship could fire for fear of hitting each other.
The bomb that it was carrying went directly through the ship, exploded on the other side, killed 38 people in that one attack and injured 55.
Somehow, the ship, on its own power, was able to return, the ship's doctor capturing a picture of the Japanese plane as it made the approach. Today, even though it's a museum, the kids are going to love it.
On the ship, you can touch things, you can point and train the guns, you can climb up the ladders. There are just a lot of very active things that children can do.
And their imagination can run wild.
We do see a lot of the play acting going on. When they're up on the guns, you hear a lot of those sounds, you know, like they're blowing up things and firing the guns.
And the veterans, they become kids again too.
I have seen sailors coming down the gangway with a cane or a walker, which of course you really can't use very well on this ship, and they hit this deck and they are 18 again. And they can get up and down those ladders just fine, and then when they leave, they're back to their old self. It is. It's wonderful to watch.
Wow. How about playing sailor for the night?
We have an overnight camping program. A lot of historic naval ships do. Kids can come and actually spend the night in the bunks that the sailors were actually in, and we have a whole educational program that goes with that.
For the rest of us, it's a self-guided tour. You can start in the museum building and enjoy the special exhibits, then head to the ship. But they need you to visit. The pandemic kept visitors away, which also means a hit to their revenue, and it takes money to keep this lovely lady in ship shape. For Acadiana's News Channel, I'm Dave Baker.